ethical dilemma is digital surveillance. So what is digital surveillance? Well, in the realm that we're looking at today, at 1984 and Terminator Dark Fate, digital surveillance is something that's used to look at people's data, information, movement, and that's done through things like surveilling your camera information, that's done through your phone information, that's taking a look at any data that you're putting out there in the world and the digital footprint that you're creating. And so this could be done with your knowledge or without your knowledge. So for instance, what can be done with your phones and your cameras and any stoplight tracking data that's found? Well, that information can be used to build a profile on you. And when you're building a profile on someone, one of the main issues that happens is that you don't have a full, complete understanding of who that is as a person. There's something called contextual collapse. So when you don't have all of the pieces of the lived experience of a human being, you can make assumptions, especially through AI, that wouldn't be correct if the person was actually to look at this profile themselves. So a lot of times you have companies, governments, hackers, or individual entities that are interested in this information due to its value. Right now, your digitally surveilled information is one of the hottest commodities on the market. And there are a lot of ethical dilemmas that happen when you're digitally surveilling people. So a couple of these are consent. Is it explicit or implicit? So that means, is it explicit that I've given you permission to surveil my data, or is it implicit in some way of like, because I purchased a phone, you're allowed to surveil my data just implicitly because that was the agreement of me using it. Explicitly, that's something you would have if you were going, let's say, to a website and they have a cookie tracker that they're informing you of, and you have to click that you accept for them to track what's going on inside of your computer as you move around in the internet. There are a couple of different ways that, as I was saying, that this can be done, and that can be through your user behavior, that can be through your movements inside of your bank accounts, that can be things that are surveilled about your credit score, and anyone that you're in association with. And so a lot of times, like I said, you're leaving a digital footprint. And that's something that you have to be very aware of and protect yourself from, because there are not as many regulations or policies in place that would really help us nowadays to be able to control what people are seeing about us and what's happening with our data. So why would you surveil someone digitally? Well, like I said, there are different entities that are surveilling. You have government, you have companies, you have hackers, and individual entities. And so people surveil for safety reasons, for control, for potential future uses of your data that they may not know about yet, for fear, for the efforts to rewrite history based off of what they see in society and what this controlling force, like we see in Dark Fate or 1984, would actually like to see of society, for security purposes, for curiosity, for fear and propaganda, control and regulation, and enforcement. So these are a lot of different ways that digital surveillance is used, and a lot of reasons why it might be in the interest of a lot of different parties to look at your data. So where does this take us? We're going to talk about the implications of digital surveillance. So in the movies that we took a look at, we have different things that we see happening that are really encroaching on the privacy and the rights of these individuals. And that's one of the major implications of digital surveillance, is that you don't have full control over what someone can see. And like I said, that can lead to a contextual collapse that doesn't fully represent who you are as a person. So a lot of assumptions can be made about who you are. So where does this take us now? We're going to be talking about the implications of digital surveillance and what it actually means to be surveilled and what can happen with that information.